Welcome to another video, the same every time, looking at IGCSE Maths, GCSE Maths, looking at the kind of questions that are the same every time apart from the numbers. The idea is that you will practice, you will watch lots of videos, you'll know how to do them, you'll recognize them when you see them on your exam, you'll be straight in there getting everything right because you've seen them all before, you know what to do, they're the same every time. Look at this is a great question. 5 marks for this one. For anybody who knows their stuff, this is a great 5 marks. So we're looking at midpoint of a line, length of a line segment. This question involves both. So A is the point 8,5. Let's try this one then. So I'll write down point A is 8,5 and B is the point -4, 1. So it's helpful to me to write them down, usually one underneath the other. Now, calculate the length of AB. So if I was to join those 2 points together with a straight line, how long would it be? Well, the calculation, you've got to remember this because they won't tell you this on the formula page. Here's what we need to do. We need to do a bracket, and then we take the two x coordinates, 8 and -4, and then we have to subtract them. So 8 minus, be careful, -4. So 8 minus -4. We have to subtract our x coordinates and then we square. So the square goes outside of the bracket. Then we add. Then we look at the y coordinates. We've got 5 and 1. We have to subtract the y coordinates. 5 minus 1 and then square. And then the whole thing is inside a square root sign. Of course, you should recognize that as a Pythagoras situation, square, square, add, square root, because if we were to draw this out on a coordinate grid, it would be essentially finding the longest side of a right-angled triangle. We don't need to worry about that. We just need to know the formula for doing this, the method for doing this. X coordinate minus x coordinate in brackets squared, y coordinate minus y coordinate in brackets squared, add them and square root the whole thing. Calculator job, you try this on your calculator as well, just to make sure you can operate your calculator. That's essential to be able to do, of course. So I'm pressing the square root button first, bracket, and then 8 minus -4, and then bracket again, then the squared goes outside the bracket. I've said it before, I think, but I've seen too many students on their calculator write the squared inside the bracket. Well, you'll go wrong if you do that. Then a plus sign, bracket again, 5 minus 1, bracket, squared, and because you have written the square root sign first, all of that is already in a square root. So equals, I've got 4 square root 10, the exact answer. Press the SD button. I'm going to write down my full calculator answer, 12.64911,064. Check that you've got the same thing. If you haven't, then go back and check that you're typing it into your calculator exactly as it looks. Well, I've said it before, at this stage I would go back to the question and I would read it again and check to see, are they asking me to give my final answer to a certain accuracy? In this case, they are not. So I'm going to round to a sensible level of accuracy, or, as I've said before, I think a few times, on some exam papers, depending on your exam board, on the front of the exam paper, they say round all non-exact answers to whatever accuracy they want. It's usually 3 significant figures, isn't it? So I'm going for 3 significant figures there, but I've covered myself here. I've written down my method, I've written my full calculator answer, and my rounded answer. I'll say this once more because it's worth saying. Yes, we can get this answer literally by just typing everything into the calculator and only writing down the final answer. Well, that's great if you get it right, but aren't you opening yourself up for the possibility of going wrong, typing things into your calculator wrongly? Please do write down your method like I have done, and even your full calculator answer like I have done, just to cover yourself in case you go wrong typing anything into your calculator. Coordinates of the midpoint of AB. So midpoint, all we have to do, add together the x coordinates, be careful, 8 plus -4, and then divide by 2. Well, can we do this one non-calculator? Probably. So plussing a negative is the same as minusing, isn't it? Subtracting. So 8 plus negative 4 is 8 minus 4, which is 4, divided by 2. 4 divided by 2 gives me, for my x-coordinate of the midpoint is 2. And then the y-coordinate, add together. This is adding for the midpoint, not subtracting. Subtracting's for the other one. Adding together for the midpoint, 5 plus 1 divided by 2. Well, that's 6 divided by 2. So that's going to give me 3. So that's a great 2 marks, isn't it? If you know your stuff. But again, notice I've written down my method, so I'm covering myself there. Well, I hope the video was useful to you. Take my advice here. Learn these 2 methods. Learn the formula for calculating the length from A to B. Subtract the x-coordinates, so x-coordinate minus x-coordinate in brackets squared plus y-coordinate minus y-coordinate in brackets squared and square rooted. And then learn the method for finding the midpoint. Add together the 2x values, divide by 2. That's your x-coordinate of the midpoint. Add together the 2y values, divide by 2. That's the y-coordinate of the midpoint. So there's a great question for those who know their stuff. Well, it's a great 5-mark question, isn't it? And of course, it's the same every time. So when you see this on your exam paper, you will immediately recognize this and you'll know what to do. It's the same thing apart from the numbers. Well, I do hope that video was useful to you. If it was, then please press the like button. Please also subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, doesn't really even take any time, and it's useful to us. Thank you very much for watching. I will return in the next video.